One of the lessons learnt came from the first contract, the ESF administration, which can be quite lengthy and quite difficult to meet some of the requirements. Because we have our own delivery team and subcontracted partners, monitoring that was quite difficult throughout the first contract, because obviously we want to meet all the requirements, so we had to sift through each partner's paperwork. So what we've actually done for the new contract is we've developed our own paperwork, we've standardised it, and we've covered everything. We've branded it so that everyone in the local area knows that you might be with Telford and Wrekin or one of the partners, but you will have a similar programme. Then the partners know that the paperwork is all the same and it's all there. They don't have to devise things for themselves. It's there. We monitor it at least once while each learner is on project to make sure that everything is there, signed and dated and filled in and completed thoroughly. And we then collect the paperwork and we keep that ourselves at the end of each of their 16-week programmes. On our previous ESF contract, we would record a learner as a start in their first week, and that was through the ILR system, which then draws down the funding for the learner. And as each learner can only be funded once, they were then limited to that particular programme. If it happened occasionally that programme didn't suit the learner, then there was very little that we could do. We would encourage them to stay and have a look at the reasons why they were not engaging with the programme. But what we decided to do for the new contract is implement a change where the learner is on the programme for a minimum of 4 weeks. If they have good attendance, they've had their first review and they're enjoying the programme, we then record them as a start. If they've identified that perhaps a different type of provision would be more suitable for them, then we have the flexibility and freedom to move them on because the funding hasn't yet been drawn down for them. Another important change that we made from our previous programme was to change the end of the programme and the progression route and how contact is maintained. Although a progression can be achieved throughout the life of the contract, what we found is that some learners on the previous contract got a little bit lost along the way. Once their 12-week programme had ended, some partners perhaps wouldn't maintain contact with them, and my team then followed them up throughout the rest of the contract. With the new contract, it gave us an opportunity to extend the programme to a 16-week programme and have a personalised progression plan at the end. So that's a 4-week, one-to-one intensive support programme to identify their next steps. Along with that, each provider has to keep a detailed contact log so that if the learner hasn't progressed by the end of their 12 weeks or 16 weeks, but a progression can still come at some point after that, the provider does have to show that contact has been maintained and that the learner doesn't, sometimes we don't have a choice, but we maintain the contact so that the learner doesn't become disengaged again. Also, my own delivery team within Telford and Wrekin Council, what we do is once somebody hasn't progressed 6 months after the end of their particular programme, we run community projects, so then we follow them up as well and we give them an opportunity to come along, get involved, meet some new people. We've recently done some graffiti art at a local special school and that went down very well. But it just gives us that chance to re-engage with them and say, so what are you doing? And didn't so-and-so come off? Hey, why don't you try this? So it's just a different opportunity for further re-engagement if they still haven't progressed. So it's just keeping that going for as long as possible. And it has worked. Our retention and progression has, I think it's currently about 123% over the target at the moment. So that has worked very well for us.